tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Saturdays. Yeah. Happy Saturday. I've been up since 6:30. Oh. Yeah. So I've been doing the Came to Believe Recovery Workshop. We started yesterday, got through steps 1, 2, and most of 3. Today we did the rest of 3, 4, and I did a 5th step this morning already. There it is. There's my 4th step. Kind of interesting. I do have questions, though. I have questions like, where's your 8-step list? I don't think they're digging deep enough. When you only spend 30 minutes on the 4-step, how are we fearless and thorough? These are the keywords that I've been taught. It was very interesting, though. I definitely don't disagree with it. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. I think it'd be great for anybody learning the program, newer to the program. Clearly this way worked, or AA wouldn't be around. So, yeah. We're going to dig into the 12th step today. Joy of living is the theme. Oh, man. Darn it. Okay. It's the anniversary of the death of a friend a year ago. I didn't realize it. This was one that hurt too. It made me very angry. I'm still angry about it, actually. Man, I need to put that on my 4-step. I'm not angry. It still hurts is probably the better way to say it. So, right. So what's the thing that I can do? Well, I can be a better person. I can continue doing what I'm doing, get the word out there, and not have it done in vain. Right. Okay. So, yeah. All right. It's going to be hard to get to jokes. So, I'm on lunch right now because this is an East Coast thing. I got to be back at 11. So we're going to do this first. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it today. I didn't realize that I had an hour and a half lunch. But the guy that did my 5th step must have been pretty easy for him because he had some cool things to say at the end that I really appreciated. So that I do not have to live in some of this anymore. Yeah, my hair is out of control. All right, let's do it. You know what time it is? It is time for Dion's Daily Funnies. Even though everybody has abandoned me today, all right. Okay. I did all these. All right. So, my wife is really mad at the fact that I have no sense of direction. So I packed up my stuff and right instead of left, as he has no sense of direction. How do you get a squirrel to like you? Act like a nut. Yeah. Why don't eggs tell each other jokes? Because they crack each other up. Mm. Mm. What do you call somebody with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. Yeah. Did you hear that rumor about butter? Did you hear the rumor about the butter? Yeah, I'm not going to spread it. One more. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired. Oh, I quit that way too soon. Thanks for laughing at the joke before I told it. All right. That's it for the daily funnies. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, like I said, hope you're having a good day. I'm tired, but I do the best I can. We're going to be in the 12 by 12. We're going to read step 12 out of the 12 by 12 is where we're going with this one. All right. My wrist was feeling better, but now it's acting up again. I'm going to pop it. Ah. Okay. When I was drinking and that would happen, what I do is I get really drunk because it would get real bad when I was drinking because I was drinking and it makes things worse. I would take a book and I go, wham! Yep. All right. Ow. I should probably go ahead and put my brace on. All right. And we have the brace. Let's get started. Apologize about that. It isn't usually best to walk away from the camera. Wallace, you are alive. Right? So, step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Not some of them, not partially, all of them. It's pretty easy to do these principles when you're sitting in the meeting with your people, right? Yep. But when we go out in the real world and you don't have the support of your friends and everybody else, are you still practicing these principles in your affairs? Because the joy of living is the theme of AA's 12th step, and action is the key word, right? And you're going to get joy from the actions that you're putting into your recovery. Here we turn outward toward our fellow alcoholics who are still in distress. Here we experience the kind of giving that asks no rewards. Here we begin to practice all 12 steps of the program in our daily lives so that we and those about us may find emotional sobriety. When the 12th step is seen in its full implication, it is really talking about the kind of love that has no price tag on it. Yes, we call it unconditional love. That means there are no conditions to the love. It's automatic. If you are a child of God, you already receive love from me. It doesn't mean I'm required to like you. It's actually easier for me to love everybody because see, it's a God thing. Liking you is something different for me. I'm gonna have to go out of my way. Maybe. I don't know. Not always. That was kind of rude. I didn't mean it that way. Apologize. And and you know, liking somebody takes me a little bit longer. That's probably a better way to put it. All right. Our 12th step also says that as a result of practicing all 12 steps, we have each found something called a spiritual awakening. To AAs, this often seems like a very dubious and improbable state of affairs. What do you mean when you're talking about a spiritual awakening? They ask. Well, there's a lot of them. All right. And your awakenings might be different from mine, from other people's. You're a different person. All right. Goes on to say there's many definitions of a spiritual awakening as are people who've had them. Yeah, it's based on perception. But certainly each genuine one has something in common with all the others. Genuine. All right. And these things which they have in common are not too hard to understand. When a man or a woman has a spiritual awakening, the most important meaning of it is that he has now become able to feel, able to do, feel, and believe, which he could not do before on his unaided strength and resources alone. Huh. The requirements, the things that the suggestions are not too outlandish on what we recommend. Mm-mm. Did you give it a try? No? Huh. Then, if you haven't given it a try, you don't have much to say on it. I hear a lot of people cutting down AA who never really tried AA. They're just doing that because they want other people to agree with them so they can continue doing what they're doing. This is what we call the Abilene effect, where decisions are based upon popularity and not the right decision. He has been granted a gift which amounts to a new state of consciousness and being. He has been set on a path which tells him he is really going somewhere, that life is not a dead end, not something to be endured or mastered. In a very real sense, he has been transformed because he has laid hold of a source of strength, which in one way or another he had hitherto denied himself. He finds himself in a possession of the degree of honesty, tolerance, unselfishness, peace of mind, and love, which he had thought himself quite incapable. What he has received is a free gift, and yet usually, at least in some small part, he has made himself ready to receive it. What's the first gift? Okay. And of course, it's a free gift. Otherwise, it's not a gift. Gifts are free, period. So that's literally the definition of a gift, that it's free. Uh, except for the expectations of buying during their birthday or whatever, right? In this case, there is no expectations. All you did was ask. You asked and made yourself ready to receive it. The first one is the obsession of drinking. That was the first one that was lifted for me, right? Now, why would we say that we need to be ready, that we need to prepare ourselves for this gift? Because we may not feel like we deserve it. So we have to prepare ourselves. Alcoholics are not good at taking compliments. We either justify what we did or said because we think we don't deserve it, or we blow it up into a prideful balloon. Not much humility in it. All right. As a matter of making ready to receive this gift lies in the practice of the 12 steps in our program. So let's consider briefly what we have been trying to do up to this point. This is a long one, so be ready. I'm gonna cruise through it, is what I'm gonna do. Otherwise, we'll be here and I won't have enough time. Step one showed us an amazing paradox. We found that we were totally unable to get rid of the alcohol obsession until we first admitted we were powerless over it. In step two, we saw that since we could not restore ourselves to sanity, somehow higher power must necessarily do it if we were to survive. Consequently, in step three, we turned our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. For the time being, we who were atheists or agnostic discovered that our own group, or AA as a group, would suffice as a higher power. Beginning with step four, we commenced to search out the things in ourselves which had brought us to physical, moral, and spiritual bankruptcy. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory. Looking at step five, we decided that an inventory taken alone wouldn't be enough. We knew we would have to quit the deadly business of living alone and with our conflicts, and in honesty confine these to God and another human being. At step six, many of us balked for the practical reason that we did not wish to have all our defects of character removed because we still loved some of them too much. Yet we knew we had to make a settlement with the fundamental principle of step six. So we decided that we still had some flaws of character that we would not yet relinquish. We ought nevertheless to quit our stubbornness, rebellious hanging on to them. We said to ourselves, "This I cannot do today, perhaps, but I can stop crying out, no, never." Then in step seven, we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings, such as He could, or would under the conditions of the day we asked. In step eight, we continued our house cleaning, for we saw that we were not only in conflict with ourselves, but also with people and situations in the world in which we lived. We had to begin to make our peace, and so we listed the people we had harmed and became willing to set things right. We followed this up in step nine by making direct amends to those concerned, except when it would injure them or other people. By this time, at step 10, we had begun to get a basis for daily living, and we keenly realized that we would need to continue taking personal inventory and that when we were wrong, ought to promptly admit it or admit it promptly. In step 11, we saw that if a higher power restored us to sanity and had enabled us to live with some peace of mind in a sorely troubled world, that such a higher power was worth knowing better by as direct contact as possible. The persistent use of meditation and prayer we found did not open the channel so that where there had been a trickle, there was now a river which led to sure power and safe guidance from God as we were increasingly better able to understand Him. Woo! A lot of work, wasn't it? Good job. If you finish a step, good job. All right. If you finish step one, good job. If today's day one for you, good job. Yeah. There's always a reason that, we alcoholics are really good at finding reasons to beat up on ourselves, but we got to look for those good things in life too, man. I've got to be able to see the forest for the trees. So, practicing these steps, we had a spiritual awakening about which finally there was no question. Looking at those who were only beginning and still doubted themselves, the rest of us were able to see the change setting in. Now, I'll let you know something. You're going to be the last person that sees the change in you, unless you're looking. You got to look pretty deep. Okay. You're the first person to see the change in others. So encourage people. Yesterday, somebody was having a hard time. I was in a meeting and they were having a hard time sharing. It was just a harder day. And at the end, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And the group was like, "No. Oh. You were going through something hard and then you powered through sharing. Good job. Good job. See? They weren't able to see that yet until we brought it up. We're like, but we see progress. So bring up that progress. State it, claim it for them. Yeah. They may not believe it in the beginning. That's okay. From great numbers of such experiences, we could predict that the doubter who still claimed that he hadn't gotten the spiritual angle would still consider his well-loved AA group, the higher power, would presently love God and call him by name. Folks, you may not like what I have to say next. There's only one God. There's only one living God. One. That's what I believe. If you have other beliefs, that's great too. Go for it. But that is where I have landed. You cannot continue using group of drunks as your higher power. It was a good start. It was a good start. We're trying to discover more and more about our higher powers, right? So keep on that journey. You'll find more and more. But it says we would presently love God and call him by name. Him is capitalized. All right. Now, what about the rest of the 12th step? That wonderful energy it releases and the eager action by which it carries our message to the next suffering alcoholic, and which finally translates the 12 steps into action upon all of our affairs, is the payoff, the magnificent reality of Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah. And this can happen from the start. It can. Even the newest of newcomers finds undreamed rewards as he tries to help his brother alcoholic. Now, you seem to think you're not of real help because you're new. Okay. If you have like 30, 60, 90 days, the people that are just coming in are looking to you. They're looking at you. They're not looking at me. I got 9 years. They're like 9 years. Fuck that. Dion's lying. He doesn't have 9 years. That's bullshit. But 30, 60, 90 days, they can understand that in the beginning. You're helping more than you know. You're more than you knew. All right? The one who is even blinder than he. This is indeed the kind of giving that actually demands nothing. He does not expect his brother sufferer to pay him or even love him. And then he discovers that by divine paradox of this kind of giving, he has found his own reward, whether his brother has yet received anything or not. His own character may still be gravely defective, but he somehow knows that God has enabled him to make a mighty beginning, and he senses that he stands on the edge of new mysterious joys and experiences of which he had never even dreamed. So practically every AA member declares that no satisfaction has been deeper and nor joy greater than in a 12-step job well done. Now, I already know this. If you're newer, I already know that you haven't had it done. Actually, if you're within your first 3, 4, even 5 years, you probably haven't had a chance to actually 12th step. 12 stepping people, it happen in the meetings. That's not where that happens. The 12 stepping gets people to meetings. Okay. So, and it's a bummer that we don't get to do as much 12 stepping work because it's hurting people by that happening. So I know in Colorado I'm trying to help us make some changes on that. We'll see. To watch the eyes of men and women open with wonder as they move from darkness into light, to see their lives quickly fill with new purpose and meaning, to see whole families reassembled, to see the alcoholic outcast received back into his community in full citizenship, and above all, to watch these people awaking to the presence of a loving God in their lives. These things are the substance of what we receive as we carry AA's message to the next alcoholic. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, they're describing it as good as they can, but it's one of those things that you've got to experience before you get it. Before you understand it, you're going to have to go through this. Okay. Now, there's still hope for it, right? You can do it by sponsoring other people. Okay. Nor is this the only kind of 12 step work. We sit at AA meetings and listen, not only to receive something ourselves, but to give reassurance and support which our presence can bring. If our turn comes to speak at a meeting, we again try to carry AA's message, whether our audience is one or many. I'm doing it right now. And you know how much is the audience here? None. Nobody's here but me. But somebody's going to hear it. Some point today, somebody's going to hear what I've done, either through clips, other things, right? So it doesn't always happen in the moment either. Right? That's all right. There are many opportunities, even for those of us who feel unable to speak at meetings or who are so situated that we cannot do much face-to-face 12-step work. We can be the ones who take on the unspectacular but important tasks that make 12-step work possible. That's part of what I do. I'm making 12-step work possible. I'm creating 12-step work because we don't have any. Okay, we can be the ones who take on the unspectacular but important tasks that make good 12-step work possible. Perhaps arranging for the coffee and cake after meetings, where so many skeptical, suspicious newcomers have found confidence and comfort in the laughter and talk. This is 12-step work in the very best of the word. Freely ye have received, freely give is the core of this part of step 12. Yeah. All right, we're going to do one more paragraph, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. We may often pass through 12-step experiences where we seem to be temporarily off the beam. These will appear as setbacks at the time, but will be seen later as stepping stones to better things. For example, we may have our heart set on getting a particular person sobered up, and after doing all we can for months, we see him relapse. Perhaps this will happen in successions of cases, and we may be deeply discouraged as our ability to carry AA's message. This is the hard part. All right. So I'm going to give you the key to this. Are you still sober? See, as a sponsor, I am 100% successful. Yes, because I am still sober. That is the success. I cannot get somebody sober. I cannot keep them sober. But I can give you the information that I have so you can make good decisions and live a better life without alcohol. I can do that. I can be a good example. We are the hope. We are the depth and weight. We are the messengers. That's it. You're the messenger. If your sponsee goes out and drinks, it's not on you. It's not even really on them. We don't need to. Why are you blaming yourself for somebody else's actions? Ego. Ego. Did you forget you're not God? Let's remember we're not God. All right. Or it may encounter the reverse situation in which we are highly elated because we seem to have been successful. Here, the temptation has become rather possessive of the newcomers. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore because of the line that says, "Who here is willing to sponsor?" We need to get back to the clamoring over the newcomer. It makes them feel good. I had like 2 or 3 people that wanted to sponsor me. See? What I can't abide by is hearing people say, "Nobody ever asked me to sponsor them." It's not in the big book. Doesn't say to do it that way. It says to reach out. Everywhere in the big book, it says to reach out, to meet them where they are at. And if you are not capable of doing that, you haven't done the work. Then you have not done all the work, because that is what happens. It is a pattern, and the patterns do not lie. Okay? So get out there, start sponsoring. I was nervous too, but you know what I did? I asked God for help, and He gave it to me. All right. Perhaps we try to give them advice about their affairs, which we aren't really competent to give or ought not give at all. Then we are hurt and confused when the advice is rejected, or when it is accepted and brings still greater confusion. By a great deal of ardent 12 step work, we sometimes carry the message to so many alcoholics that they place us in a position of trust. They make us, let's say, the group's chairman. Here again, we are presented with the temptation to overmanage things, and sometimes this results in rebuffs and other consequences which are hard to take. I'll give you the key to that one. If you have started a meeting or somebody has asked you to be a part of the meeting, the whole point is to give it up. Do your time and give it up. Let it go. Let the next person have it. When I started Grassroots, the goal was for Dion not to have any control over the meeting. That was the whole point of it. All right. Hey, Michelle, I was just wrapping up. I got to get back to my conference. So I'm going to be starting on step 6. So we're almost halfway through the steps. It's been pretty interesting. I've been up since 6:30, which it should just be fucking illegal to have to get up that early. But the good thing is since it started earlier, I'll be able to go to my 5:00 meeting. So that actually works out. And I need to work on getting up a little bit earlier. So, but Michelle, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. But I just announced job descriptions. Oh, did you? Oh, I'll have to go look at that. See, I can get to it. So, but thanks for joining in, even if it was for the last couple minutes. So good to see you. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And